I think there is at least a 50-50 chance that most people alive today will live to 1,000 years old.
That statement sounds pretty out there. As of 2017, the average life expectancy of Americans was 78 years old. By 2060, it's projected to be 85 years old. But Dr. Aubrey de Grey and others think the real number will be much higher.
So, of course, people have been trying to bring aging under medical control since more or less the beginning of civilization, and therefore it's fairly reasonable for people to be skeptical. But, of course, eventually somebody's right. Powered flight research was science fiction until it wasn't. The evidence looks pretty good that we may be onto something.
He says aging is basically the result of the body running 24/7, 365 for decades. All that hard work your body is doing over time breaks the body down, and that's hard to prevent, so he has a different approach.
We believe that it's actually going to be easier in the long run and more effective to repair the damage that the body does to itself throughout life. So the body is a really complicated machine, of course, and therefore it necessarily accumulates many, many different types of damage. My original formulation puts them into 7 categories. So, for example, one category would be loss of cells dying and not being automatically replaced by the cell division. All of the cell replacement therapies that we need to develop come under the heading of stem cell therapy. So that's really the way we're going about this.
So the idea is that instead of preventing aging, you would instead go to a doctor every so often and repair the damage from aging, effectively making you younger again. While this is hard to imagine, he says it's treating the body the same way we do other machines.
As we all know, there are a few cars around the world that are more than 100 years old. And if you had asked the manufacturers 100 years ago whether any of their cars would last 100 years, they would have totally laughed at you because they knew that they were making their cars to last maybe 10 years. What they didn't know was that preventative maintenance really works.
Dr. de Grey's prediction is that in the next 15 years, we'll have a treatment that will give us 20 or more years of life, which would make you biologically even younger than when you got the treatment. And then in the next 15 to 20 years, we'll have even better treatments to reverse even more time. Taking away all the damage to your body would keep you the same biological age.
That's a long time in technology. In particular, it's a nice long time for people like me to improve the therapies. That's why it's not so crazy to predict really long lifespans.
So keeping all of that in mind, maybe it's not quite as crazy to hear his first statement again.
I think there is at least a 50-50 chance that most people alive today will live to 1,000 years old.
These first-generation therapies are currently in clinical trials, and we'll soon find out which 50% is right.
I really want to emphasize that I just don't work on longevity. I don't even think about longevity much. I work on health. I'm a medical researcher. And in terms of longevity, the only relevance of that to my work is that longevity is a side effect of health. What gets me out of bed is the fact that every single day that I bring forward the defeat of aging, I'm saving literally 110,000 lives. That's roughly the number of people that die of age-related causes each day worldwide. And that's quite easy to get out of bed for.